So, Mark, I'm leaving for Chicago for ASCO on Saturday night, and I'm going to miss half of ASCO because my son is graduating from high school. So I'm very excited about it. Here he is, the little guy with a mustache there. So some of you listeners are already in Chicago for ASCO. Others are not going. And so, what Mark and I wanted to do today is to review some of the data that our company, Larvol, is tracking. We have a panel of 3,000 verified oncologists, and on our Clin platform, we track all of their commentary on the ASCO data and many other cancer conferences. So, Mark is going to share his screen in a couple of minutes, and we're going to review with him some of the emerging data that have the highest level of buzz at ASCO already. We started monitoring this when the title arrived a few weeks back. And after that, when the full abstract arrived. And obviously, now that the conference has started, the level of buzz has increased. We have more than 1,000 tweets that have been indexed. Now, we don't take every tweet. We take only tweets from verified oncologists that talks about the data. We don't take the hashtag high from ASCO, and that have meaningful commentary on clinical data. So, welcome to the podcast, Mark. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Bruno. I don't know if your son authorized you showing a picture here on our podcast. I hope he's cool with that. But congratulations to your son on that. So I presume I'll just go ahead and share a screen and let's dive in and see how social media reactions from the aforementioned oncologist is going. So let me pull that up in just a moment and we'll take a gander.
As you do that, I've got a little cheat sheet here. As you do that, the three of the top high buzz, positive high buzz trials so far: Harmony, Laura, and Adriatic.
Absolutely. So can you see my screen? I'll take that as a yes. So let's go dive right into ASCO 2024. Scroll down a little bit in our conference list. And just to re-triangulate listeners, once this loads, my system's being a little bit slow. There it is for a second. So just again to re-triangulate what we do for ASCO, which is right upon us right now. We track all relevant tweets, as Bruno just said, relative to data disclosures for all of these trials, and we'll dive into that. But we also put analytics on how individual oncologists on social media are responding, as well as responses to, let's say, particular sponsors, companies as well. But you're seeing obviously a high volume with your companies like J&J, Merck, AstraZeneca, BMS are definitely leading the social media reactions right now. And we have a number of other different analytics that you probably see on our social media. But let's go ahead and take a look to some of the top, I won't say the word front runners, but in terms of our analytics, let's see what's happening. Bruno mentioned you'll see Harmony here. Good volume of social media activity. We have Laura here, which we've spoken to recently in other podcasts, and Adriatic as well. So maybe we'll start with Harmony, a few neutral reactions, and a very good volume of positive reactions here. So if you click on this analysis that we have on Clin, and we go to this study of AK 112 in non-small cell lung cancer, you can see all of this parsed by day. And even today being May 31st, as we're speaking here live, you're seeing some of the reactions here. So a lot of positive reactions. There's been a lot of, as I think we noted maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, there's a lot of really great studies coming out in non-small cell lung cancer. And you're seeing some of these reactions here. So just sort of cruising through to see if any of these jump out. But questions, not questions, but a lot of interest here in terms of bispecifics and how these could work. So that's what or how successful they would be. So this is sort of in the bispecific space, which we're actually doing a lot of work in Clin, which you might be able to check out soon. We'll be doing some landscape analysis in Clin within bispecific. So that's sort of what we're seeing for the Harmony study here. Just to keep trucking, and please, Bruno, interrupt me if I'm going too fast. We're going to go ahead and back out, and then maybe we'll see how things are doing with the Laura study, which again we talked about recently on our podcast. So a lot of activity on social about this as well in terms of osimertinib following chemo. And maybe I'll just drive through. I think we were seeing a couple tweets that our AI picks up as practice changing. And I'll try not to scroll too fast to cause any nausea for those listeners. But maybe if I keep going through here, here's a X post, the artist formerly known as Twitter, calling out that the Laura study could really be practice impacting there. And there's actually a couple of here. Another oncology influencer emphasizing how this Laura trial could really be practice changing. So that's what we obviously curate all of this data so it's relevant, but that's what our AI tech can do, is calling out the sentiment from all of the 3,000 oncologists that we track. So there's a lot of excitement around Laura, and also in the same space, there's definitely a lot of energy, a lot of reactions around Adriatic. So we had talked about this again. We had talked about this a week or two ago. But maybe let's see where we are with Adriatic. A few noted potentially practice-changing social media reactions here. And maybe I'll just scroll through and find a couple of those. Again, I'll try not to scroll too fast to cause any nausea here on the internet. But some excitement here as Durva in consolidation so this different from NSCLC, but this in the setting of small cell. So that's what you're seeing here in terms of what could be practice changing in the context of small cell lung cancer as well. So there's too many in the construct of a brief 15-minute podcast that we do on Fridays to go through it. But that's what you're seeing here. Reactions coming through, I'll say hot and heavy now that ASCO has started. So we've also even been doing, as I think I've mentioned previously, we've been doing end of day alerts to all the specific reactions to trials on a daily basis at ASCO. Here it's consolidated in one space and Clin. So if you're interested in this at the next high impact conference of interest for you, whether it's ESMO, whether it's World Lung, or whether it's ASH later in the year, if you reach out to us, we can give this to you both on Clin, the platform itself, but also can do what I was saying in terms of end of day alert. So that was a bit of a lot of verbiage, Bruno. If there are any other trials you'd like me to poke around to, happy to do so. But I'll pause there.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that highlight. if you don't mind, go to the other analytics and let's compare this year with previous years in terms of both the buzz about mechanism of actions, drugs, or diseases.
Sure. So let me just jump over here. So these are actually, if we look year over year, it's more based on number of abstracts. So here I'm looking at abstracts related to particular products. So if I click on here with these nice New Orleans Mardi Gras colors, this is the year over year looking at particular drugs related to abstracts. So that's what you're seeing here. If I complete the thought, we can also do the same with MOAs, so a little bit more broadly. So here you're seeing, obviously, there's a lot of high volume in PD1 and PD-L1 inhibitors, as one might expect, as well as EGFR sitting on top. And just to square the circle, we also do that in our analytics based on tumor type. So in 2024, it's a really huge jump here in terms of HER2 positive breast cancer abstracts. In 2024, it's actually, if I look at the scale as I go down, it's sort of
That's
quite
incredible. Look at that jump.
To be frank, I knew how impactful small cell and non-small, and a number of huge studies that we just talked about with Alara and Adriatic. I actually, I'm a little sheepish. I didn't realize the jump was that high in HER2 positive. So
we all for transparency at Larvol and build in public. So let me express my curiosity here, and even my wondering if that's not an artifact of some sort. It's a number of abstracts, right? So is that right? That's not the buzz. It's a number of abstract, and we're saying that the number of abstract has been increased 5x from the last 2 years.
based on how we extract, so obviously we extract this using our our text mining or in a natural language processing, but this would be based on number of abstracts. That's correct.
Now, and again, it's a little bit unusual for people building a product to ask questions in public, but could it be that our definition of that disease state has evolved in the NLP that we use, catching maybe a incorrect signal?
Well, as a former, and as I like to say, a recovering scientist, I will never preclude a hypothesis that this should be reinvestigated. So I can't push back on that statement at this time, but I'm going to have to check this out. We're
Right.
always trying to improve. How about that?
We're doing QC in public here, folks. We're getting toward the end of our 15 minutes together. So I don't want to end on that question mark. We will check on that particular point. But what I want to say is that, I want to reiterate that I hope to see many, many of you at McCormick in Chicago for that event, which is kind of the Super Bowl of cancer research. We will also be at EHA in Barcelona. Is that right? I will be at EHA with a couple of colleagues, and later on ESMO, and a few other conferences, of course, ASH later on, and ASCO GI, ASCO GU. So I hope to meet many of you there. I'll be wearing my standard signature hat, so it's easy to find me and say hello from afar. I have a fiduciary obligation to advertise our company, so it's probably going to say Larvol on it, or our friendly mascot Tiger Tiger as on Mark's cap. I want to say the following as well. We would love you, if you're listening and interested in this too, and you don't have currently access to Clint, to send us a message on social media or through our website. And it's not too late to get access to it for ASCO. I think you'll find that this is a very valuable tool. And our goal is to make it so valuable that in the next ASCO, you will not be able to do without the Larval Clean. So that's my final advertisement for today. Thanks for watching.